Hello, how's it going everyone? So in this video, we're going to be covering search network and display network and when and why people use this, why they don't want to use it. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in this. So this is going to be sort of an SOP video, which I think will be beneficial for pretty much every single person, because if you're running Google, you're probably running search in some fashion or form. So we're going to cover all that right now. Okay, so when it comes to Google search, it gives you the option to, like when you build out a campaign, it gives you the option to add on the search network and add on the display network. Tell you right off the bat, never add on the display network. I've never found this useful, and we'll get more into that later. Just want to put that out now that SOP is we never turn this on inside of search. As for the search network, so what the search network is it's a search partner with Google. So think of something like DuckDuckGo as the search engine that can still get ads from Google, but Google doesn't have as much data on those users versus if they were using Chrome. Google has a lot more information on that. So think of it as a split kind of like this, where Google is about, Google search. I'll put that in there, not search partners. So Google search is about 85 to 90% of all searches globally. So like iOS users, or all searches in the United States, sorry. So think of like iOS users, it defaults to Chrome, and it's typically what most people are on. And then the other 5 to 10% is something like search partners. Bing is also a very small portion of that. That's typically just the default in your Windows, but it's a very, very small percentage of the total search in terms of what people look and search for, right? Like hence the term Google it. And so since Google owns this slice of the pie, it has more data on these users. And so the default with this off is it's going to go after people only in this slice of the pie. And what that does is it says, okay, Google has the most data on these users, it's the highest volume of users, but it's also the highest competition of users. So you have to keep that in mind whenever you're doing this. And so what we like to do is start only on Google search, because we know that the quality of traffic is good, the quality of data is good, and we can see other people and what they're bidding on to better understand where the flow of traffic is going to, or where the advertisers are going to find out what's actually working in the industry itself, right? So if we have someone that types in, or if we type in a term and we see no ads showing for that term whatsoever, and it's kind of a term that we're on the fence on, we're not really fully sold on the term, but we just are kind of like, well, we might add this, might not. If we see like no competitive metrics on that, then we probably won't test that out first, because that typically means that the term is not really converting. But if we see something that is converting, like a term that's high competition, what we like to do first on newer accounts is we'll push that term specifically only on Google search. And the reason for that is because we want to make sure that the quality of traffic is as good as possible. So then we're not going for efficiency. We just want to see if we can have the offer work, or the value prop, whatever the case is, for the business work and convert, to then say, okay, now let's start optimizing the ads. Now, when we get to that point where we feel like we've kind of maxed out Google search and we've sort of optimized as much as we could around it, and we have roughly around 15 conversions a month or more, then we'll look at a scenario where we might want to add in search partners, or we might want to generate demand from another channel. This is sort of a sub, test that I like to do in addition to maybe another change. So the reason why we don't like to add this in right away is because search partners, which is, like I said, like DuckDuckGo, is a very small slice of the pie, and it doesn't really have as much data on users. So the quality of user in Google's eyes is not really as strong. And so conversion rates might be lower, and it doesn't necessarily have the best bot protection as well too. Now, not to say that search doesn't have bot protection, because God knows that there's a lot of bots on search as well. But the issue comes down to it's not, it's kind of the Wild West for that 5 to 10%. Now, there is a lot of cases though where accounts will perform a lot better on search partners and get a lot lower CPCs. It's typically more local businesses that tend to do better on search partners, but I like to stay away from it until I know that the offer is working, the ads are working, and then we just know it's not really a traffic question, or it's more of a traffic question that we're trying to figure out versus a full funnel question. And so what I like to do then is, like I said, SOP it. We leave this off to start, and then once we want to expand out, we'll add it on and turn it on, and then we'll see exactly what is happening in the business, check the lead quality, check the CPA, understand if that's contributing to your P&L, back-end metrics, or your pipeline, and then decide, okay, do we want to leave this on or off? Now, jumping to the display network, the hated network, my most hated network when it comes to Google, because it's pushed so much inside of Google Ads, and a lot of people fall into the trap of turning it on or just running display in general. It's filtered into Performance Max as well too. Like, Google's really trying to push the display network. And the reason why is because it's where a majority of their inventory is. If literally the majority of their inventory is on the display network. So think of like all the websites in the world with Google AdSense showing ads on the side of their website page. Google's trying to push that as much as possible. Really good for retargeting, but not good for outbound. And I always try to I always have this off literally 100% of the time, because I don't want to blend display and search together. I want to have them with separate budgets, separate campaigns, so I can more clearly see what's going on and push and pull certain networks based off of, what part of the funnel I want to actually impact. Now, it says that don't miss this opportunity to get additional conversions at a similar or lower cost with just one click. Oh my gosh, it looks amazing. Google's just trying to push it. Easy way to get additional conversions at a similar or lower cost than search with unused search budget. So I'm a little bit skeptical of this, because yes, I've seen that search tends to get the majority of spend, but we're still talking about 10% efficiency on the display network. And if you have a really high target CPA or target ROAS, it's going to go into display like crazy and try to get low cost conversions that are typically repeat customers. It just makes things a mess, and it doesn't allow you to actually scale the account with a understanding of what lever to pull in the first place. So I always have this off whenever I'm running search campaigns. So yeah, that's kind of the general rundown of it. Now, if you're looking for more SOPs and sort of builds as to how we sort of scale accounts or improve in terms of making them more efficient, we have a school community down in the description below where we have weekly Q&As, and we have a huge community of 130 people that are, freelancers as well as business owners and agency owners, as well as in-house people as well too. So people from all walks of life when it comes to the digital marketing side of things. So really cool group. And then if you want something that is done for you, so we just do it for you or do the build for you, you can contact me on the information below on my website. And yeah, we'll kind of go from there. So anyways, thanks again for watching this video. Appreciate you all, and I will see you guys in the next one.